I've had a weird relationship with making art for a while now. I've drew and painted occasionally throughout my life, but really started to dedicate time to it in 2018 when I started to learn to paint with watercolors. I remember that time of exploration and being curious about this medium really fondly. Ever since then, I found myself in a loop of painting consistently for a while, like when I was doing the 100-day project in 2020, and then finding myself taking time away from painting for months at a time. During those times when I sat down to paint, I'd feel stress in my body. I couldn't enjoy painting. That's when I'd stop for a while. But my mind wouldn't let go. I've always kept thinking about painting and painting ideas. Sometimes I'd continue to paint despite the stress. For years now, I had these unresolved feelings with creating art. I ask myself a lot of questions trying to figure it out. Why can't I enjoy it like I used to? Why do I feel stress? I knew it wasn't fear of screwing up a painting or perfectionism, because when I tried to approach painting again during these times, I tried to create purely for the sake of creating, without putting pressure on myself while I felt stress. What is it that I'm searching for? How do I wish to feel while creating? I tried to think about the last time I truly enjoyed painting, and it was in May 2023. I finally found myself enjoying the process. I felt like paintings were just flowing out of me effortlessly. I was excited to create and try new things, and I finished a sketchbook faster than I ever did. I really hope to return to that feeling of creating freely and joyfully, enjoying the process, the colors, the little things. So I decided to venture again into painting regularly, trying to understand my relationship with making art a bit more. I want to take the time to be really conscious when creating each day, making sure to record my thoughts. I hope to understand myself better and find new discoveries. I'm starting with a minimum of 20 minutes of painting a day for 30 days. Of course, I'm not expecting everything to change or be resolved in 30 days, it's just a starting point. I made a list of what I call comfort art places. These are my go-to themes, subjects I feel comfortable painting. When feeling out of touch with art, I try to go to these art places and slowly find my way to creating again. What are some of your comfort art places? I'd love to hear them. Here we go! Wish me luck! I just finished painting this rose and found out the footage is blurry. I did lock the focus, but I guess I did something wrong. I tried filming in a new app for the first time, so it's all part of the learning process. Hopefully tomorrow I'll figure it out. I painted for around 30 minutes and didn't feel too much stress. A little in the beginning. After that, I focused on the rose itself, enjoying the colors. Today I painted for around 50 minutes. I felt okay overall, but I'm still figuring out the filming setup, and I haven't found a comfortable way to paint with the camera above me, so this hindered my enjoyment a bit. But still I managed to film with focus this time, so it's already an improvement from yesterday. I did feel a bit of stress sometimes, but I focused on the painting and the music I had playing, and that helped me to drop in and pay attention to the paint strokes themselves. Not the best experience today. I felt a bit more stressed out, which I find surprising because today was the first day so far that I came with something specific that I wanted to paint, as opposed to the first 2 days that it was a bit more forced. I felt like playing with a bright pink and turquoise and simply paint doodly flowers. This color combo was something I felt a bit excited about coming to this painting session, but I wasn't able to enjoy the process for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. It might be that I was still a bit uncomfortable working around the camera instead of freely sticking my head in the painting and moving the paper around like when I do when the camera is off. So I might try a different setup tomorrow that might help out a bit more, even though I did try something that I thought will make it more comfortable today. I think tomorrow I'll try to work on an even smaller painting and keep it short and sweet. I found myself really avoiding today's painting session. I've procrastinated for a while now, saying to myself that I'll get there eventually. What is it that makes me feel this resistance? Yesterday's session wasn't fun for me, and that left a bit of a bad taste, so I wasn't looking forward to it. But also the whole trial and error with the filming aspect of making this video has led to a bit more of a strife than just going to paint would have. I do want to push through these feelings, both the resistance to paint, reminding myself that I did love this, I did enjoy this, and that means that I am capable of feeling this way. But also I want to push through the difficult filming aspect and figure out how to make it less distracting. I want to make this video and other art videos in the future, so I just need to try things out until I find a good solution that won't be too distracting for me while creating. Now I'll go and paint something simple for 20 minutes. I can do it. I painted for exactly 20 minutes. I finished the painting at around 16 minutes, so I added a bit of a frame. It was better than yesterday, and the way I set the camera was a bit better too. That was a nicer experience again. I feel a bit better while painting, still a bit tense, but I feel an improvement overall. I love touching the greens and seeing the pinks and purples flow into them. I did feel like I ruined it a bit with the last few leaves, but I don't really care. This isn't about making beautiful art, it's about showing up to paint every day, returning to create without pressure to make it look good. I was done in around 17 minutes and didn't know what to add, so I added these weird leaves. It will be nice to paint on the next page. I think it's an actual watercolor page as opposed to the last few pages in this sketchbook. I made it with a mix of a few different papers. Today was quick and quite nice. I think I started to loosen up a little, getting back into it. I had fun playing with some new paints and watching the paints flow into one another. Things are continuing to improve. Today was less stressful, only at times. I painted for around 40 minutes and it was nice, didn't feel too much. I loved having a bit of structure as I outlined the leaves before starting to paint them in. I didn't sketch anything before starting to paint as I want to be loose and practice my observation skills with painting without drawing first. I find drawing less fun than painting, so with this challenge of returning to paint I didn't want to add another aspect that I struggle with just yet. Might be good to try to figure out my relationship with sketching and drawing too in the future. Feeling a bit of resistance today, procrastinating a bit and not going to paint. I'm not sure why. I'm trying to think of something that I'd like to try out today. I think of this blue ceramic pattern I painted and this new bottle I picked out lately, and I think that's the direction that I feel moved to follow today. My intention for today is to not think about the finished sketch, as I think has been in the back of my mind as I've worked with the reference yesterday. I find it easier to look at a picture for guidance and then stray from it, but sometimes I do feel the pull to stick to the reference too heavily. I don't really know what it was, but I didn't really enjoy today's session. The sizing of the paper is ruined and the paint soaked into the paper immediately, and also leaked weirdly. I hope it didn't go to the other side, but it's okay even if it did. After finishing the 20 minutes, I listened to an impulse to play a little with the leftover paint and simply paint the page with it, adding pink and salt, and that part was more fun. I wonder why I'm not enjoying myself. It's okay though. It might take a bit, but I believe it will return. I had fun today. Even added pink stripes after the 20 minutes passed. I didn't do anything different today. I tried to think what made it better, but I can't pinpoint what made the difference. I had fun singing with the music on, painting these little sweet pencils. I had music on yesterday too, so this wasn't a factor. I know it's not an exact science and that it may as well just be that today I had fun and yesterday not, but I do hope to learn what I can do to help myself out in the future when I arrive to paint. For the 10th day, I'm trying something a bit more structured and planned, but still not by much. I saw this gorgeous prompt on Instagram and wanted to try it out. Okay, so it was quite nice creating this one. I sketched super roughly with colored pencils beforehand and then dove in. This one feels like it would have been even more fun to paint on a larger paper because of all the tiny flowers and the negative space I had to live and feel and be careful about. I wasn't as careful as I could have been because I wanted it to be loose, and I used the same brush for most of the painting, so some parts got covered, but I don't mind. I feel like it's more fun to paint freely like this. This one took longer than 20 minutes, of course. I felt like doing something more special for the 10th day. It took something around an hour and 40 minutes. Tomorrow I'm switching to painting clouds for the next 10 days. Today I'm not feeling so well, so it's a bit of a tired day. I did a quick cloud study and was done in 10 minutes. After that I added the darker sky and a few doodles and decided that it's okay to call it a day, even if I didn't paint for 20 minutes. I had fun painting the clouds. I love to see the colors mingle and mix on the paper. Yesterday I still didn't feel so good, so I took the day off. Today I got back to it without a reference and kept things loose and fun, simple clouds. Again, the number one thing I enjoy is watching the colors mix and flow together into one another. Today was a continuation of tired and under the weather me, so after 10 minutes I felt like I was done, and I didn't push myself to continue. I think I'm going to leave out the rule of 20 minutes minimum from now on. I feel like it's not making it fun for me, and that mostly I just keep going without respecting the present moment. I feel like if I want it to be fun for myself, it's okay to call it a day when I feel satisfied for now, especially during days I don't feel very well. I do believe it's important to push through at times, but right now I don't feel it's beneficial. I feel like I'm still not at that point where I'm excited to paint and having fun, so that's my priority at the moment, not an arbitrary rule I made up. I felt very reluctant to paint today and found myself delaying it more and more until at last I knew that if I wanted to film today I have to do it now before the light is gone. The footage did turn out weird with the light shifting, so lesson learned. I felt more stressed today while painting, but I feel like I came to the desk like this, as opposed to the painting process being stressful. I feel very uninspired lately, so tomorrow I'll try to generate a new outlook and attitude before coming to paint. Maybe looking at some older paintings, which I usually find motivating. Today was quite fun. I craved simplicity and got it with simple blobs that flow together with leftover colors from the palettes. Just painting, less thinking. It was nice to simply paint, no longer looking at the time to see if I reached the 20 minutes or didn't reach it. It feels like for once I'm left wanting more, and that's a great progress. I forgot to write right after painting, so it's not as fresh as always, but today was quite nice. I painted at the desk standing up instead of sitting, as I usually do, and used a big brush that holds a lot of water, and did a playful session solely for the sake of trying things. I wanted to try a black and white study with my brush pen, but apparently it dried out, so I just went along without really knowing what to try instead. And then I decided to paint the background first with white, and then charged the wet background with blues. I enjoyed the second one more. It was quick and expressive. Overall, felt a bit of stress in the first one, even had to remind myself to breathe deeply, but by the second one I felt better. Today was quick and fun. I used brush pens to lay down colors and marks, and then used a brush to spread the colors. I think this will be a fun outdoor setup with a water brush instead of a jar of water. Afterwards, I tested some new paints on a sketchbook I just made. Felt stressed today while painting, breathed deeply, and tried to relax. Not the best experience, but still not a bad one too. I felt like it felt a bit like a chore today instead of something I get to do. Today's been a bit hard for me. I wasn't feeling my best mentally, and it did weigh on me while I painted. I wanted to go back in time to when I started to learn watercolors and felt inspired and joyful while creating, and it reminded me of some specific paintings I did back then. So I tried to go there and create something similar and see what it'll feel like. I even used the same paints I did then, but they kind of dried out, so it wasn't the best painting experience, as I was having a hard time reviving them. Today I felt the discomfort of painting while filming more. I felt like it was just making me lose patience and slip up at places. I wasn't enjoying myself and felt like finishing already. At one point, after my brush slipped, I decided to continue off camera. After that, it was better, but still, I couldn't shake the feeling that it's just not as fun for me as it used to be. It might be for a lot of reasons. The struggle with the paints and camera setup, my mood today, or simply I might not enjoy what I used to enjoy. And all of these are okay. It's just what's here today. And that's okay. It doesn't mean it'll feel this way forever or be like this forever. I'm writing this trying to console myself, as I am a bit disappointed lately that I'm not enjoying myself more. And it feels like it's easy for my brain to jump to the worst conclusions, that's it, I won't enjoy painting from now on. Those days are in the past and I have to find something new. But I must resist believing these baseless thoughts. It's been 20 days of painting, and although I don't feel a huge difference, I did show up, and that's the first step. Today was super quick and loose, just 15 minutes to warm up and be playful. Because this isn't watercolor paper, it was even more unexpected than usual. But I enjoyed watching the colors flow, even if it was more than I wanted them to. But I don't mind, it's not about the actual landscapes, just how it feels to paint. Today I painted again, creating this light background to put on my desk while filming. I really had fun painting this. Wetting this huge paper and dropping paints was really fun. Seeing the salt create all these lovely effects was magical. Not filming was really freeing too. I added a few pencil marks to yesterday's page. I'm not sure how much it added, but I tried. Today was a quick 15-minute session, not including the pencils. It was really nice to put my sketchbook on the new background, or I don't know how to call it. My love also arranged my filming setup so I could shoot from a bit higher, and that made it so much more comfortable. I didn't feel stressed today, but I did feel that the painting wasn't going like I wanted, struggling to keep it loose but also legible. At the end, I didn't really manage to make it look like a waterfall, but that's okay. It was a nice 30-minute study. I'm reminding myself again, it's about the process, not the end result. Today I painted for 40 minutes. I'm not sure how it felt painting. I didn't feel stressed, but I didn't feel much at all. I had fun with the music on, singing along while I painted, so that aspect was fun. But I don't have any insight on the painting aspect itself. Music helps me with the resistance I feel to arrive at the desk to paint. But maybe it takes too much of the focus from what I might be paying attention to. I don't know. I'll try tomorrow to paint without music and see if I can pick up on more. Today I felt like painting a bit bigger, so I went for a full spread. Tried today without music, and it was considerably less fun for me. I felt more rigid, and only at the end of the painting did I loosen up and had a bit more fun. I reached a place in the painting where I felt I'm just not enjoying it, a feeling of this isn't working. At that point, I started asking myself, what does this painting need? And trying to add it, first with colored pencils, then with watercolors again. I stood up and continued to paint. The moment I let go of this painting and added the orange that wasn't in my reference, I was beginning to have a bit more fun. Standing up loosened me up a bit too, so that's something I'll remind myself. I wrote this the day after. Forgot to write yesterday. It was quick and okay overall, nothing bad nor good. Today felt better. I know it's not about the results, but it is nice to like what I paint, and today's page is one of my favorites since I started this sketchbook. I decided to simplify today and use 2 colors, and that was fun for me, simple and focusing. Another good day today. I returned to play music and had fun with a monochrome study. I feel like things are improving lately. Yesterday I actually smiled when I passed by the sketchbook with these simple blue and red landscapes. Today I had only a tiny bit of stress when I painted the clouds after I finished the landscape, and I noticed it quickly and breathed deeply. Then I continued and finished the clouds in a more relaxed way. Today was really fun. I think it's the most fun I had in this challenge. I used only a flat brush today, and I felt like doing flat abstract landscapes, and it was super fun and cool to see the colors interact with one another when they weren't dry. The palette itself looked so pretty by the end of it. I think these line landscapes are really simple and fun. Give it a try if you like. Tag me, I'd love to see it. Last day was great. I felt like I wanted to sit and paint instead of how I felt at the beginning. I didn't feel stress, and the painting process itself was nice. I can't wait to paint on my new sketchbooks I made with actual watercolor paper. I remembered the paper in this sketchbook more fondly, and I thought painting on it will lower the pressure and help me feel less precious about it than I would a better paper. But if I could do it again, I'd definitely give myself a better experience from the get-go and use a better paper. In the next 2 days, I painted the cover of the sketchbook. I love ending an art challenge this way. This side is a revisit of a sketch I made back in 2020. The sizing of the paper was off, so it was a bit unpredictable, as the paint didn't behave normally and the paper repelled it. So how do I sum up this painting adventure? I think what I take from this is that I should just show up, and if I do, the rest will follow. There will be off days. One day will be okay, the next will be great, the following one will not be enjoyable for one reason or another, and then I'll have a few good days in a row, and the cycle will continue. But the only way for me to work through discomfort, stress, and resistance when it comes to creating is to continue to show up, little by little, but not force something to be something it isn't. Trying to recreate a feeling I had in the past might work, and it might not. Sometimes I try to paint something I enjoyed in the past, and I enjoyed it now too, but other times I found that it felt forced. I realized that I changed and I may no longer gravitate towards the same things, and that's okay. I'm happy I tried things out. That helped me see what I enjoy now and what I can let go of. I feel like letting go of the pressure to feel a certain way while painting and accepting the way I do feel made all the difference. I simply wrote my thoughts each day, and it may look like I focused on the negative sometimes, but it was important for me to be honest and to document it just as it was. When my feelings were not aligned with what I wished to feel, I told myself that it's okay, and that helped me let go of the pressure I put on myself and of my expectations for things to go in one particular way. Trying to focus on the tactile feeling of painting, the brush strokes, the colors, the way watercolors behave, helped ground me when I felt stress. Painting with music on helped me when I felt resistance to paint. Painting standing up helped loosen me up. Being more flexible and not sticking with the 20 minutes rule helped me change this experience for the better. I thought 20 minutes per day is starting small, but now I feel like starting smaller would have been more beneficial on the days I felt more resistance, and the only way for me to learn that was to experience that for myself. So, future Maya, if you find yourself feeling resistance or discomfort, these are your reminders. Show up and feel whatever it is that needs to be felt. Witness how it changes day by day. Try to let go of your bias towards feeling a certain way, and then you'll see how slowly things will begin to flow, just like watercolors.